I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming. We hope you've enjoyed the event. It's 2 days of a lively agenda with lots of different parts to it, by design, of course, so that it's interactive and has plenty of space for exchange between leaders, and also time for some deeper exploration of the exchanges that happened themselves in the last couple weeks, and also the events today. We hope it's been enjoyable for you, and also enriching for you as people, as human beings, which we all are, human beings who are concerned about those with mental illnesses, and also as leaders, current and emerging leaders. So want to just thank you all, and please, we're up for any kind of feedback. This is an organization that lives that way. It really values input to make things better for the organization, because that's better for all of us and the participants that are so important to the organization. So I want to thank everybody for coming, for attending, and turn over to my co-conspirator in this.
Yes. And I think I've got a mic here. Thank you. So I also want to thank everybody for being here. It's hard to believe that these 2 days are coming to a close. It seemed like it's hard to believe it was yesterday morning we were welcoming the U.S. group to this event, and now we're sitting here closing, and it seems like a full week has happened in between then. But so much was covered during this meeting, and so many ideas were shared. And it was great to see the exchange of those ideas and the knowledge going across the different discussions that were happening, and so many new ideas that helped to move us forward and help to improve services and supports for people with disabilities and people with mental illness. So I really want to again thank all of you for being here, being such active participants in the discussions, and really helping to move forward and contribute to that exchange of knowledge and information. I hope you've learned things here today and yesterday that you can take back with you, that you've got, I guess there were some aha moments that were mentioned earlier, that you're taking some of those aha moments back with you and can apply those in your home setting, and that you learned something new that, again, you can take back. But hopefully you also contributed to somebody else's knowledge development and gave them some ideas that they can take back with them. I also want to thank the leadership of IIDL and IIMHL. There's a lot of work that goes on in terms of keeping these groups moving and coming together like this. And so we really want to thank the way in which you've brought these groups together so that we can have this opportunity. And what a wonderful opportunity it's been. And just thank you for making us a part of it, and thank you for being here.
And hopefully this will work. Good. Hi, I'm Ruby Moore, and good afternoon. It's felt like a week. It's been brilliant. I'd like to thank all of the delegates that came to the North American Hub, and also our colleagues at the Australasian Hub and the European Hub that we're all meeting simultaneously across at least 5 different time zones. This was so great. As a board member of IIMHL and IIDL, I felt really privileged and honored to be able to attend the IIMHL sessions, the IIDL sessions, the joint plenaries, and even a couple of the matches before we came. The conversations were rich, they were provocative, some were challenging and difficult, others inspiring. William told us that sometimes we have to reset our mind frames. I was very, very encouraged that the voices of youth were so well represented and self-advocates, and thank you to Frame for your scholarships to make the youth participation happen. We had some really provocative conversations about both trauma and resilience, the different interpretations of resilience. And one of the things that is often true of our gatherings and was clearly true here was we're often grounded by the wisdom of the indigenous leaders, and I'm sure my colleague Holly Echo-Hawk will speak more about that. But even from the beginning, we had that beautiful song by father and son, and to me, I experienced it as both a prayer and a call to action, to turn to each other, to love each other, to support each other, to learn from each other. And when we were in the midst of that really challenging set of conversations about resilience, again, we heard from the leadership from Thunderbird, and a reminder that in some cultures, we find our healing and our clarity by going back to our roots and saying, if we're kind to each other and kind to ourselves and kind to the earth, that in that we can find the healing that we're seeking. So as we're going forward to, hopefully together in Amsterdam, but as we go forward with the leadership challenges and all that we've learned from each other and remembered from each other here, I think that we've got plenty of work to do together to try to seek that healing. And Holly?
Yes. My mother always told me to stand up to your full height. And these chairs are so comfy, I'm going to get slumpy, and she would disapprove, so let me stand and do this. I am from the Pawnee Nation in Oklahoma. My Pawnee name is Stahadiwa. My English name is Holly Echo-Hawk. Ruby and I are both board members of the IIMHL IIDL. We're thrilled that you all are here. We had a great, profound time, and we hope that you did too. I wanted to say something about the Indigenous contingent that's here. We made an intentional effort to make sure that we had Indigenous presence here. And we have our Indigenous counterparts in New Zealand and the other time zones that are meeting as well. So as a result of this intentionality for the Indigenous, to make sure we had Indigenous young voices here, we ended up with 13 representatives from First Nations in Canada and 10 people representing U.S. tribes. Of that 23 total, 24 I guess if you count me, 60% of those were Native young people between the ages of 18 and 30, which is what our goal was. And in addition, I just want to mention Miss Yellowhair, who is representing a Navajo person representing Youth Move. So we actually had 23, 24, me, 25 Indigenous people here. So here's my belief. I believe that all Native youth are brilliant. They're born brilliant. It's honed by generations and generations and generations of DNA. So maybe they communicate differently, maybe they think differently, maybe they're quieter, but they are brilliant. And if you have the honor of serving a Native person in your clinical practice or in the room today, I believe you're in the presence of brilliance. And what an honor for all of us. And I might extend that to any young person, not just Native young people. But I think we're in the presence of brilliance. And they have a lot to say. They said a lot. We listened, we heard, and we plan to change to be further inclusive of young voices. So I wanted to just share with you really quick the different tribes and First Nation folks that are here. So we have U.S. tribal members from the Wichita tribe, Comanche, Chippewa, Sioux, Navajo Nation, Cheyenne and Arapaho, and the Great Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. For the First Nations people, they included people from Dene, Ojibwa, Inuit, Métis, and Mi'kmaq Nation. We really want to say a special thank you to the National Indian Education Association, which Raquel, who gave us the funniest line of the day when she said, and I approve this message, Raquel and Melanie Johnson from National Indian Education Association did all of the legwork in recruiting and getting all the U.S. Native folks here, arranging their travel, doing all of that, behind the scenes work. And then another special thank you to the First Nations folks, Noah Despina and Mary Lou, who were the adult representatives who helped support the First Nations young people that are here. And then the last thing is, how super proud are we of Marshall? What a fantastic job he did. That's not to say that my friend and colleague and former MC partner, Dr. Sims, didn't do a great job too. But Marshall, you did a fantastic job. You really did an incredible job, and we're so proud. We're very, very proud of you. So last, just a few thank you for funding sources. The funding to bring people, our Indigenous contingent here, was thanks a lot to IIMHL, of course, FRAME, the Canadian Foundation, First Peoples Wellness Circle, and the incredible Thunderbird Partnership Foundation. If you ever get a chance to Google Thunderbird Partnership Foundation and First Peoples Wellness Circle, those are some incredible resources that I would encourage everyone to Google that and give them a shout out. So thank you all.
As we move towards the end of the session, and before we actually call upon our Indigenous group to come forward, I wanted to let you know that we've placed a link in the evaluation survey in the closing session item portion of the app. Please go to that link and complete your survey, which will take roughly about 5 minutes. And if you don't complete it or otherwise, you will receive a reminder in about a week's time to please complete it. It is important to have that completed. It really gives us valuable information. But before we get to our group, we wanted to take time out, and Steve kind of did it just a little bit, but I'd like to ask at this time for all members of the Planning Committee and all of our sponsors who are available, if you'll just stand up. Stand up and take a bow, folks. We really want you to know that without these folks, without these wonderful folks, these past 2 days would not have been made possible. So we are so thankful to our sponsors. We're thankful to all of you. We're thankful especially to Kathy. I know that Steve had pointed her out, but Kathy is such a person that lives under all of the fame and so forth. But if you have watched, and maybe you missed her because she's so short, but you have seen her scoot about throughout this entire event, keeping things on track and keeping us on track. So I'm personally thankful. I know that my brother here, Marshall, is thankful as well, but we just want to give special, again, acknowledgement to Kathy. Kathy, thank you again. And I will turn it over to my colleague.
Holy, my cheeks are getting sore from smiling so much. So I'd like to welcome back the Zoitai singers that are going to do our Indigenous closing. And I've been asked to share a few thoughts about the importance of closing in ceremonies. And as this is a gathering, and a gathering of different nations, people's lived experiences, and as such, it's important that we honor each and every one of you, and for all the gifts that you have brought, all the stories and ideas, wisdom and knowledge that has been exchanged here. It is very important that we honor that in a good way, and that we also close off in a good way. And I'm very thankful that we have these beautiful gentlemen here to send us off in a good way. And I truly believe that we're going to reach what we call back home, Minno Pinmitswatsuin, which means living the good life. And I hope all of you folks live the good life.